Hi everyone, and welcome to the Code Clarity podcast. I'm Rina.
And I'm Jean. So we've promised everyone the little chat about the PMCPA Annual Report. It's not the most exciting document to read through, I would have to say, but we promised it, so we will deliver. We do what we promise.
Okay. So to make it a little bit more exciting, what would you say was your big interesting thing that you read about it?
Well, the big thing that struck me when I read it was it's promoted, it's advertised as the 2022 and the 2023 annual report, but there's only the full data set for 2022 because they're still doing some of the cases from 2023.
Okay, and why is that important that it's missing this chunk?
Well, I think it's important for a farmer who's actually having to respond to these complaints because, to get the nerdy data out of there, it does say that in 2020, the average time for a complaint was just under 30 weeks. It was 29 and a half weeks.
Which sounds a bit rude.
Only to you.
Only to me. I think that is the name of the film. Anyway, 29 and a half weeks.
12 and a half weeks. Right, anyway.
And what was it in 2022 then?
So in 2022, it increased up to 53 weeks. So not quite double, but still just over the year.
But when we do our case awareness, every month for our subscribers, we look at the dates that were received to published, and our average is 15 months.
Yeah, which probably implies that it's went from 29 and a half weeks in 2020 to 53 weeks in 2022. When they do actually publish the data for 2023, are we going to see that continuing to increase? And we keep coming back to this point, but the longer it takes for these things to be published, then the longer it takes for us to learn what we should be doing correctly.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, 15 months can be the life of a campaign. So by the time you get your ruling, it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah,
okay, what was another interesting point that you took away?
So the other point was, and again, it's a little bit of a frustration because it's not got the full 2023 data. So in 2022, it was the first time, certainly in the data that they published, so 2020 to 2022, that there were more successful appeals by respondents than unsuccessful. So in the previous 2 years, and also for the appeals by complainants, there's more unsuccessful. So when you appeal, you've not got a chance. In 2022, that was the first time the trend shifted, and there was more successful appeals than unsuccessful appeals.
So I'm taking away a few things from this. Firstly, I know there's a financial bit that you want to talk about, but surely this just means that if we are better as an industry appealing, the panel are worse with their decisions.
So they're taking longer to get to those decisions.
And then
more of them are being
that's another podcast. What about the financial aspects?
And this is what was interesting. So this was obviously in 2022, and obviously you could think, well, that's just a rogue year and we'll go back to lots more unsuccessful appeals. But what they then said in the financial part was that we know that they're putting the prices up, they're putting the levies up, because got it. And for the first time, they said in 2023, they've got a deficit. And the reason they said that was they've got a deficit in 2023 due to the higher number of successwell appeals by respondents.
So they need to make money here, right? To sort of to pay for all the new staff.
Yeah, well. Yeah, so they've got all this new staff to try and shorten down the timelines, but are the new staff making correct decisions? Because for example, they actually said in 2022, they brought in just over £250,000 just on unsuccessful appeal rulings.
Wow.
But in 2023, that had dropped down to 38,000. That's a massive drop down.
Yeah.
So bringing in these new staff, great. But if those new staff aren't making good decisions, companies are going to appeal and winning those appeals.
Interesting. Okay. I think we'll leave it there because there's a lot, I think, for the listeners to take away from that, whatever you want to take away from that. But I think it's probably worth another podcast in the future, just until the new staff join and we kind of see some of their outputs, because that would be a good time to revisit this one. But in the meantime, thanks so much, Jean.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.